Hi there and welcome to this week's episode of Whingy Old Git, the vlog of my 50th year on planet Earth. And this week I'm off on my holidays with the present Mrs. Camsell. We are visiting a number of European countries, but because of the wonders of modern technology, the fact that I've got my fancy laptop and I've got my phone with me and we have Wi-Fi where we're staying, I can bring you a vlog along the way. I bet you're beside yourself with excitement, aren't you? I know Mrs. C is. We left Gatwick and we travelled over to Riga, which, in case you don't know and you've been living in a cave, is the capital of Latvia. When we arrived in Latvia, it was unseasonably hot. They're in the middle of a Baltic heatwave. Who couldn't have planned this better, really? We had expected it to be a little bit chillier than the UK, but it wasn't. It was absolutely boiling, like 30 degrees at night. We got a really fancy upgrade in our hotel, which meant we had a balcony, and it also meant that we were apparently staying in part of the presidential suite where Queen Elizabeth II stayed as well. The concierge was very keen to tell us this. But anyway, we had a look around Riga, and it looks like this. Today we are in Riga. I don't know if you can see me because I'm a little bit in shadow there because it is such an absolutely gorgeous day here today. I'm just going to flip the camera around and show you what we can see, not just from our window but from our balcony. Oh yes, we have a balcony. Now, we were told that the room that we're staying in is the room that Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II stayed in when she visited Latvia in 2009, and they held their meetings at the Riga castle, which is that one over there. It's a little bit less impressive than some of the castles we've got. I wonder how Her Majesty found that, but you know, castle's a castle, it's got turrets. So we're going to head off to the old town to try and find some breakfast, or brunch as it is now, that most middle class of all meals. The reason that we need to go out there is because I forgot to book a hotel breakfast. I didn't forget, it was really expensive, so I didn't book a hotel breakfast here. And that's actually strangely disappointing because we're both really rather hungry. At home, we hardly ever have breakfast. We wake up in a hotel, there's like this Pavlovian reaction to wanting food first thing in the morning. So apparently there's a really good baker's over here. So once again, I will be singing Cake to Bake, the 2014 Latvian Eurovision entry, to Mrs. Camsell over and over again. She absolutely loves it. Totally loves it. On account of the rookie error with not getting breakfast in the hotel. Many apologies, Mrs. C.
It's cool.
We have come to Bakebury. We found this place on the internet and looked it out. A lot of people doing cruise ship tours here, and I think they're missing a treat. Check out these baked goodies. Obviously, Lord Camsell has opted for the cheesecake. Mrs. C has gone for the raspberry mousse. Oh, look at that. This place is pretty stunning, and whereas breakfast in the hotel would have cost us 30 euros for the two of us, this was 13 euros for these and the drinks that we're getting as well. And it's altogether a thoroughly pleasant place. So yeah, first recommendation, if you're ever in Riga, come to Bakebury, especially if you need fridge moving. There's a lot of useful fridge moving people around here. I feel right at home.
I talked to a unicorn the other night. He took me up on a lonely star. Did the moonwalk on the Milky Way. Realized I've gone too far. So I questioned the law of gravity. Put the apple back up to the apple tree. Ate 2 nuts, I even learned Latvian. I know it's so hard to believe. And today
not like any other market I think I've ever been to. There is a huge fruit and veg and fish and meat and fish market here, and it's absolutely stunning. And as you can probably see, a Clare market with flowers, but it's not like Borough Market where it's just for Ponzi people. This is where people are actually buying stuff, so it's really cool. So I'm going to just have a quick look around.
Tap 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 the cuckoo, tap 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 the cuckoo, tap 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 the cuckoo, tap tap tap. We've got a cake to bake and got no clue at all. We've got a cake to bake and haven't done that before. Don't be proud, mate, please don't bother. Go, come on and ask your mother how to bake that cake. Mix some dough, add some love, let it bake, wait for it. Mix some dough, add some love, let it bake, wait for it. Mix some dough, add some love, let it bake. Have some cake, mix some dough, add some love, let it bake. We've got a cake to bake and got no clue at all. We've got a cake to make and haven't done that before. Don't be proud, mate, please don't bother. Go, come on and ask your mother how to bake that cake.
According to the sign behind Mrs. C, what she's got in her hand there is Rigan pochine. It's a high quality 43 proof pochine produced from Latvian honey in the greenest neighbourhood in Riga, Mesoparks. After fermentation and double distillation in copper pots, it is filtrated through forest moss and activated carbon. Pochine is filled in 2-litre bottles and has a pleasant taste and aroma of the spirit drink. This is not 2 litres, this is 40 ml of it. Mrs. C's not going to down it in one, but she is going to have a little tug on that because I don't drink. So be my proxy drinker. Off you go, Mrs. C.
I'm getting moss, not George, just mossy moss, and I'm not getting much honey. I'm getting alcohol, just like nail polish remover. It's burning, it's strong, and I'm going to go out into that heat. And
So I just had a little sniff of Mrs. C's pochine, and it does genuinely smell like nail varnish remover. There's a small hint of a smell of whiskey about it, but largely what I'm getting is nail polish remover.
I need some ice with this, because first it's very, very hot, but it's very, very strong. My nose seems to be going red already. It's not quite ready now.
And of the 40 ml, you've drunk about 2 millilitres of it. So we're going to be here for a little while. I'll get back to you when Mrs. C will be there on the floor, just lying there.
Where are the beds?
Or maybe in a Regan hospital, who knows.
Bench.
So up here on top of St. Peter's Church, I wanted to get a little bit of video, but it's so windy. There's just like this tiny little corner where I can actually say anything. So I just tried panning around. You could see a little bit of what's going on in the background there. But what a breathtaking view. What a lovely city. And such a beautiful day as well. There's Mrs. C over there. Don't jump, Mrs. C. Don't jump. I don't think she is jumping. Mrs. C, she laughs in the face of danger.
He's very white, isn't he, Jesus? He's a very white man. To be fair though, all of the baddies at the bottom are also white men, as probably would be the case.
Well, I'm thinking.
Symbol here of the poor Latvian people.
Everybody.
These lovely little anemones probably mean something, I'm not sure what.
Ah, look, there's the angel bearing the cross of St. George.
Yes, I know, hurrah. Britain coming in, sorting it all out. I suspect not.
So we've come to a restaurant, traditional Latvian, and we've got free booze, which obviously I can't drink, so Claire's going to down one, then down mine to make it look like she's just only drunk one, and help me out here so I don't look a little bit
It's a bit like cough medicine, but it is called...
So far today, you've drunk cough medicine and nail polish remover.
No, it's called balsam. It was invented by a pharmacist. I read that somewhere. But it's got a slight effervescence to it. It's nice. Unusual. Riga Black Balsam. Nice, it's a wing. It's better than the porcini. I bet.
So it's all got a bit weird here. We ordered some traditional Latvian food, and it turns out the traditional Latvian food is like a JCB load of food. That's just Mrs. C's. Mine's over here.
Yours is quite sensible. Mine is quite generous.
Yeah, once you cut the fat off, there'll probably be nothing left there.
Yeah, probably right.
I'll have your cucumber
You
as
can have
well.
a cucumber, I don't want that. What's this?
Ketchup.
Barbecue sauce. Very nice.
So we found this beautiful looking building here, and yeah, there it is. And what does Claire want to look at? The multicoloured bear.
It's a teddy bear. Look how cute he is. Look how lovely. I was going to do a handstand on his paws, but apparently that would be dangerous. Look at his little shiny eyes.
I would pay good money to see that. So tell us about the hack history, Claire. Tell us about the cat history, Claire.
history.
You mad cat woman, you.
So many years ago, there was a man who wasn't accepted into one of the guilds, and he was really annoyed by this because obviously it was beneficial to him as a businessman to be accepted into the guild. So to get his own back, he built this whole bloody building, and on the top he put two cats with their backsides facing the guild building, who had turned him down, and to add further insult to that, he had their tails raised in the air, so they were actually burying their little pussycat arses at the League of Gentlemen, or whoever they were called, that turned the burgher of the city down. And that's it. That's why he built a whole building, because he had a grudge. That is a bitter, twisted man.
You're an absolute fount of Latvian historical knowledge.
I properly love it here. It's brilliant.
I'm glad I brought you along.
Thank you. I'm thinking what we should have done is stole the padlock from the swimming pool earlier, because like no one would have known. Might do that tomorrow. Because look at all the effort that people have made, and what have we done? Nothing. I think we failed.
I brought you to Riga. That's hardly a fail.
It's 10:15 at night, and look, it's properly daylight. And there are bands playing everywhere, and people sitting outside of cafes, and flowers, so many flowers. And it's just beautiful. It is the most beautiful place, and I will come back here in a heartbeat. It's so lovely. Thank you for bringing me here.
Well, that's a marked change from we didn't make the effort over there.
Well, we didn't make the effort, to be fair, but it's a lovely, lovely city. I really like it. Thank you.
Just to add something to what Mrs. C said there, I'm actually a little bit disappointed in myself, because originally our trip we were going to go to Moscow, and Riga was just a hop because it was cheaper to get an airfare to Riga and then another one to Moscow. And actually, I'm really sorry that we're not spending more time in Riga. We're only here for a day. It is a stunning place.
It's beautiful. And just up the river, they've got beaches on the sea. Baltic.
Wingy old git.
Baltic, mate.
Wingy old git.
Fucking Baltic. People say it's Baltic. It's absolutely balmy.
It is balmy here. We have arrived in the middle of an unseasonal heat wave, which is, to be fair. But, well, I've forgotten what I was going to say now.
Cafe culture.
Yeah, the cafe culture. But everyone, not only is it a lovely place, everyone has been really friendly. where we went into the restaurants and stuff. That was
Lovely.
Lovely. Everyone
Really good at English as well.
really good.
Made
Yeah.
us feel worse than we already do.
I don't feel bad about it.
Anything.
Nothing wrong with my English.
Don't even know the word hello.
I do. It's hello. I assume it is. That's what everyone keeps saying to us.
I bet it's not. They just look at us and go, English.
Yeah. Hello.
All right.
But no. So from Windy Old Git and Mrs. C, our advice is come to Riga.
It's
Come
lovely.
to Riga. It's really nice. I should just point out that rather lovely sunrise at the beginning was the work of the present Mrs. Camsell. And whilst I'm very keen for her to get up at 3 o'clock every morning on our holiday and do one of those, apparently it might be a one-off. So don't expect one of those at the beginning of every one of our destinations. Some people are just no effort. Once we weren't going to Moscow, we decided that we should go to Estonia instead. And my original idea was to travel by train, but when I looked this up, I discovered that actually the way to get from Riga to Tallinn, the capital of Estonia, is by coach. So I booked a coach trip, and quite accidentally, genuinely was accidentally, I booked some kind of business class ticket. They have these big long seats at the back of the bus with extra legroom. I mean, it was just a ridiculous amount of space for one person. So yeah, we had this really fancy coach ride as well. There is one thing I need to show you before we go, which I didn't show you about this trip. The present Mrs. Camsell and I are not renowned for what you'd call travelling light. So doing this multi-stop holiday, we've had to get rucksacks and try and fit everything in. We're not great at it, but we've managed it.
Ish.
Yeah, as Mrs. C says, ish. But we seem to have done all right for our first night. We've got a few nights in Tallinn now. We're off to get the bus. We had a look at the buses yesterday. I thought we'd be bumping along in some old Russian cast-off from the 1980s, but they're actually pretty luxurious looking coaches, and the tickets were really cheap. To get to Tallinn, it was €29 each, so €58, less than £50 at the current exchange rate, which when I looked at a comparative price of a ticket from London to Edinburgh on National Express, it's quite a cheap way to travel if you compare the two together. So yeah, the only trouble is we've got 4.5 hours sitting on a coach seat. I hope Mrs. C has remembered her car sickness tablets. Here's a weird thing. I thought these tickets were very cheap, but apparently we're booked in the big seats. I could turn this around so you can see. So that's the bus down there. That's the normal part of it. But look at where Mrs. C's sitting. We seem to have these massively reclining seats and loads of legroom. I'm not entirely sure quite what the score is here. Why we've got such fancy seats. And we've also got free muesli bar. I'll look that up when we get there. I've no clue. But I tell you what, this is the comfiest coach I think I've ever seen. That's it from this week. We'll catch you on the road next week. Till then, thanks for watching. Bye.